Well, hello, that's me again. It's May 2, 2022. It's the evening in Pacific Standard Time. And there is a reason I needed to address this today. First, I want to comment a little bit on this alleged capture of this Canadian general, whatever his name. I don't want to go there until there is a formal confirmation by Russian Defense Ministry or Minister of the Foreign Affairs or somebody else of repute who can do this officially, and then I will be commenting basically using his name. But obviously, for people who follow the news cycle, 24/7 news cycle about the whole situation with Ukraine, it was clear already at the start of the siege of Azovstal and Mariupol that there was something special there. Actually, Sergei Lavrov himself, Minister of the Foreign Affairs of Russian Federation, stated very clearly there are many, cadre NATO officers there, and there are many mercenaries. And the information which now circulates since yesterday is the fact that this Canadian general of the Canadian Armed Forces, who was in charge of the biolaboratory, which involved other 18 people. We don't know who those people are. And they were developing some stamps of the really deadly viruses there. So, as you might understand, when those news broke, they were broken by famous Russian channel, 360 degrees. That's how it's called, 360 degrees. And then, of course, they've been repeated by a number of other aggregate sites like Vzglad and others that, okay, the guy is taken prisoner, he was trying to escape, and he's in Moscow now, and obviously he's talking to FSB, which is kind of expected if that thing happens this way, and he was a big bird, so to speak, big fish in the small pond, and that explains why there were so many desperate attempts, which were successfully interrupted with the significant loss of human life and equipment, primarily helicopters, both Mi-24s and Mi-8s of the Ukrainian forces. So they were trying desperately to get somebody out of the Azovstal, which is now completely blocked, and I think so that's the first kind of signs of the real big fishes, so to speak, coming into Russian nets. And if it is confirmed, but again, I want to stress it, there is a difference, a profound difference between the possibility and probability. When people would ask me about, is it possible that this general have been caught? Oh, absolutely possible. So, how probable it is? If you would ask me to give the probability, so to speak, on that issue, I would say fairly high, but I wouldn't give it 100%. Until it is confirmed, it's difficult to say. But if this general, whatever his name, was indeed in charge of those biolabs, my gosh, let me tell you, it's going to be one of the hugest stories in the news, not in the West, in the rest of the world. Nobody cares anymore really what West thinks, however, sad it is in many respects, because there are some, public opinions in the West used to matter. They don't anymore. But if the rest of the world will see this, and believe me, Russians will make sure, if they have this general and others like him, to parade them over the War Crimes Tribunal, that is going to be a massive PR blow to already crumbling edifice of the Western propaganda about the development of the operation in Ukraine and what Russia does there, or Russian forces rather do there. So, if that is confirmed, that will be huge. I mean, absolutely huge. Although we already see right now the development of, so to speak, POW cycle. Russians begin to slowly dial it up. Yes, anybody who watches me and say, whenever I use the number 11 in my pain dial, yes, I refer to this is the Spinal Tap, one of my most favorite movies ever. So, and Rob Reiner, although he is not really, his typical Hollywood product, but the movie itself is absolutely classic, wonderful. So, and that's, yes, I use this 11, and the PR 11 is being dialed up by Russia by parading many taken prisoners, those mercenaries. And what you look and what you see above me in the corner is, of course, referral, so to speak, harking back to 1986. And this is from the very famous US and still very valuable and viable naval publication, The Proceedings of the U.S. Naval Institute Press, which used to be an outstanding magazine. You had many interesting articles and people writing there. Well, it's kind of declined a little bit, but still very good magazine. And I was published in there too. But what you see here is the snippet from 1986. This is the famous movie, The Top Gun. This fairy tale of Tom Cruise and incomparable Kelly McGillis. And if you read it naturally, what is written there, it is about the fact that not only Top Gun was a huge success at the box office in 1986, it also drove basically the recruitment for the US Navy. And as my friends who were in the US Navy tell me that, yeah, there were tables immediately by recruiters on the entrance in the movie theaters, and when people were getting out, they were immediately enrolling into the US Navy, because obviously they always thought that the moment you enroll or basically volunteer to the US Navy, what you get is you get your personal F-14 and the woman, the quality of Kelly McGillis, the way she looked then, and she was stunning, all right? And everybody thought, oh my God, I get a master's degree in aeronautical engineering, and the girl with these legs and the way Kelly McGillis looked then, oh my gosh, why not to volunteer? I would love to serve in such a Navy. Obviously, the reality for people who were enrolling as the pretty much enlisted people, basically, basic naval professions, it was quite different. It wasn't as glamorous. You were, as it is always the case in any Navy, it's not the case always in the armed forces or ground forces when you are not fighting on the ground, but in the Navy and technical specialties such as like strategic missile forces and things of this nature, you do suffer from sleep deprivation, and suddenly all this, magic and glamour is gone. It's noisy. You're often tired like hell, and you don't really think that much about, getting a woman in your personal F-14, which people begin to understand that you have to get, the really serious education and academics to get into the cockpit of F-14 or F-18 or what have you. These are complex machines, very sophisticated, and require a very much, serious academic background to fly them, let alone fight in them. But why do I bring this up? And this is precisely has everything to do with this news cycle, or dialing to 11, which Russians do now, in regards to these foreign POWs. We're not talking about Ukrainian POWs. They are numbered now in many thousands. We don't know very many. And but now there are, concrete visuals. There are visual proofs of even the interviews with those mercenaries from the United Kingdom, from the United States. Well, for now there's no POW, so maybe there are, but probably they haven't been yet published or posted online. But I mean UK, and there are some other killed people from Denmark or what have you. So, but primarily from the UK, and many of them, obviously, after being taken prisoners, they really care about their own safety. And if you listen to them, they're not those, Tom Cruise type characters who just fight all those nasty, whatever the hell they have, MiG-28, I mean, never existed, but yeah, MiG-28 they fight, and whatever, Arabs or those nasty Ruskies, but they suddenly begin to sound not like they are those Hollywood stars. They really care about their own safety, and if you listen to them, they all, for some reason, are either cooks or drivers, people who really never fought and didn't kill anyone. Well, obviously, it's a complete BS, and many of them begin to sing like the birds. But the fact that United States Navy really topped its recruitment program, recruitment quotas in 1986 due to this Top Gun movie is very actually indicative. And make no mistake, I want to make very clear that this does not really references or relates to U.S. Navy only. Believe me, there are many people in Russia also, especially young people, who want to go and serve to this glamorous, tough, armed forces, and so yeah, the propaganda works, so, and Top Gun was obviously a propaganda and fairy tale movie. But yeah, I'm not gonna go into the recruitment ads. Everybody knows those modern American CIA and US Army recruitment ads with the many pronouns and LGBTQ issues, basically addressed there, so that the rest of the world was really laughing. But it was the time when, yeah, you have this, guys with a lot of testosterone, and other hormones, bubbling there, and they want to prove themselves. There's nothing bigger than to do this, going and volunteer to the army or to the navy, to the air force. And many of them obviously, think that, oh yeah, I'm an enlisted guy who is only from the high school right now. So yeah, I will enlist or enroll, and like in a month or two, I will be flying F-14. No, you will not be flying F-14 or F-18 for that matter, or what have you. Or for that matter, Su-33 or Su-35. Doesn't work like this. It's a hard labor. A lot of sleepless hours, a lot of academics, a lot of everything. And the training and boot, believe me, I remember my boot in 1980 in Baku. And believe me, in our famous Baku Combined Arms Officer Academy, they had 2 deaths. Because from the heat exhaustion, they died in the on the range where they were doing boot. After that, thankfully for us, after 2 months of driving us completely into basically emaciated state and sleepless state, we were forbidden to go out because it was one of the hottest years on record. It was the year of the Moscow Olympic Games. Yeah, I'm that old, okay? And the pine cones on the pine trees, for example, in our Naval Academy, they were blowing up from the heat. It was amazing. You sit and, suddenly things begin to crack, and you see the pine cones just, dropping from the pine trees. So that's how bad it was. So that is not glamorous. In general, military service is not glamorous, but obviously getting yourself into the mercenary business and thinking that it will be glamorous, well, as one of the UK prisoners of war, you can look on his interview and on my blog, stated that, oh yeah, we were doing this not only for the, love of money. Obviously money are good, at least they promise they will be good, but because we were just getting, high, we loved it, for the sake of war. No, guys, let me read my lips. That wasn't war. You don't know what real war is. And that is my main point. The real war is not when you get yourself, nice M4 or whatever, M16, what have you, and you begin to hunt those sand niggers or snow niggers, for that matter, and they can offer only minor resistance and probably shoot at you from AK-47, and the best you can get is going to be shot at with RPG-7, or maybe, if you're unlucky, get yourself concussed and basically, or even killed by IED. No, this is not war, this is safari. And this is what they've been teaching you guys about this war since, who knows, since I think so, what's the name of it? First Gulf War. You get in against the third-rate army with no viable C4 ISR and you shoot them. It's a Turkish shoot, and then you begin to face maybe some counterinsurgency. Yeah, it's tough. Yeah, you still get killed sometimes, but generally it's not that dangerous. But when you fight something like combined arms operation with the country which actually has standoff high precision weapons, has excellent, satellite space-based assets of recon and intel, and has the overwhelming firepower in terms of its artillery and armor force, then yes, the war becomes very different. You get basically torn apart, completely demoralized by the fire impact, be it on the front line or in the bases or the places of your basically where you pre-deploy, as was the with Yavoriv or Yavorsky range near Lvov. A month and a half ago, when several 3M14 calibers really flew into there and basically killed like truckload 180 mercenaries. So that's what you get. That's the real war. That's what is this all about. And for people who think that it is Top Gun, it's a reincarnation of the Top Gun, but on the ground, no, it is not. It's a slaughter. The main object of any war, if anybody who read Clausewitz, obviously, is to what? To compel the enemy to do our will. How we compel the enemy to do our will, that's absolutely, well, hey, how about you look at those same Gulf wars conducted by the United States and coalition, but primarily by the United States, and put yourself in place not of the American or UK soldiers, put yourself in place of those Iraqi soldiers. And that's what is expected of you in the real war. And that's what they got. And now they sound like we're nice guys, we didn't kill anybody. No, you did kill many people. And now, obviously, from what I hear, LDNR forces and their security services, those who have their hands on those mercenaries which are allowed for them to have, many of them are already in Russia proper, and that's the whole other story. But what many people already noted is the fact that basically they face the death penalty. Wow, they didn't expect that, didn't they? And this will be a very, very interesting procedures once the War Crimes Tribunal begins to operate. Both, my understanding now, I could be wrong, don't quote me on that it could be operating both out of LDNR, out of Donbass, and out of Moscow. Moscow will be a big show. And again, if we have the confirmation of, which we sort of do, we know that other people of the high, so to speak, flight are already in Russia, and they're talking to FSB, and those are people from NATO. But I think there is still the possibility, again, how probable it is, I don't know, that there is a degree of the bargaining is happening right now. Russia has a very many of those people, and I think that Russians can exchange them for a number of, so to speak, goodies, if you wish. If not, then yeah, they will be paraded in front of the whole world, even Western world. Westerners can get something, out of it by watching all kinds of channels. It's the new world. We live in the world of information and all kinds of the media platforms. So I think so. It will be very interesting. Now to the more, the question and the points, so to speak, which have been raised today with my wonderful interaction with three wonderful guys, Alex Christoforou, Alexander Mercouris, and obviously Gonzalo Lira. And this was about Germany. Here, let me put it this way. This is not just about Germany. This is the show, or to show to you guys, why, for example, Europe is done. What you see here in the corner are the prices per kilowatt hour electricity for the households. And these are very crucial numbers. And first one you can see yourself is the one for those, so to speak, biggest European economies, and especially this locomotive, which they love to say about German economy. This is household. And this is highest. As you can see yourself, most of the European Union countries are in this list. It's completely unaffordable. And that's obviously may come as a surprise for Olaf Scholz or Annalena Baerbock or his economic minister, who has a PhD in philosophy, like literally, not doctor of philosophy. He's doctor of philosophy in philosophy. So, and the electricity is not taken from the wall socket. They have to understand that. I know they don't, but it's not about wall socket. It's about electric power grid and electric power stations which power the economy. And when you have prices like this for your household, and you can look up your prices for the businesses, which Germany is still in the top 10, you will understand that you cannot sustain an economy like this. You just can't. And again, I want to stress it. I do have empathy still. I do have sympathy to many people in Europe. In the end, make no mistake, I never put myself like, oh, I'm an Asian man. No, I'm a Renaissance man. I love European culture, all the time. So being Russian, it doesn't mean you cannot be the real Western man. Not in the sense of the trash they import from Russia, which call themselves pro-Westerns. They are just basically the stooges, No, I'm talking about the people of the culture which enjoys, European music, European art, European thought. Rational thinking, greatest achievements of Renaissance and Age of Enlightenment. Yes, I appreciate this, but I also have to face the fact that, it's over. And this, for example, simple graph shows it very clearly why it is over, because it's unsustainable. In comparison, of course, you can take a look at what are the prices for the electricity in a Russian or Chinese household, or even some former Soviet republics, because they obviously are stuck with Russian greed, and there's a lot of interchange going on there. When you have the difference in price by the order of magnitude, that tells you everything you need to know about the future of the countries which have those prices. And again, don't hesitate. Go, just basically Google the price per electricity by country and see for yourself. It will get you on the special, energy and electricity output agencies who will give you the whole, printout, what you need to know about the prices for households and businesses. And obviously, the prices in UK, in Germany, the main drivers actually behind this Russophobia and, those sanctions, you can take a look. You cannot live on that. You cannot afford to live like that anymore. And it's going to be reset, not by means of the World Economic Forum and those morons there, headed by Charles Schwab. No, but I'm talking about the real life, reality. You cannot fight reality. Like a gravity, reality is a bitch, you cannot fight it. And there is, in comparison, of course, the prices for Russia, China, and you can see yourself. So do the same for the businesses. And of course, you need to provide a good price for electricity in businesses, because modern economy, it's electricity and heat. And that is the point which I wanted to make today, because when people begin to wonder why Russia behaves itself like it behaves, well, because Russians are, for all flaws, make no mistake, Russia is not without its flaws. There are many issues which have to be solved. There are some problems, obviously. Make no mistake, if for those idiots who think that I'm speaking here, having my rosy eyeglasses on me, no, it's not a primrose path there. It's still a struggle, but it's nothing compared to what Europe is already experiencing and will continue to experience. Remarkably, as you can see yourself, the United States is not yet in that situation. It's getting there, but it's still better, because the United States more or less sufficient energy independent, more or less, plus minus, So, but that's the numbers, and numbers, when properly contextualized, they do not lie. But then again, most modern Western economy and economism and economics is basically is removal of the context, and using the monetary indices, which are basically most of them, not all, most of them are fraud, to describe the economy. That is why many people don't understand that. No, Germany is not the largest economy in Europe. Russia is, and by far. Or for example, that United States the first economy in the world. Well, I think so. It's a real delusion to say that, because China dwarfs the United States in terms of real economy, and so there we are. That's what I wanted to address today. And I thought it was fairly urgent, and that will be my word for you today, guys. And I'll see you, as always. Don't forget to support me on Patreon. That allows me to produce those videos. And please subscribe to my channel on YouTube. And I will be talking to you later, guys. Thank you for your attention. Bye-bye.